Week 4 of the college football season is upon us, and a huge game for Washington State Cougars this week. 15th ranked Oregon coming into Pullman as a 6.5-point favorite to hand the Cougs their first loss of the season. Now Oregon did take a whooping at the start of the season against the reigning national champion Georgia Bulldogs in a 49-3 loss. But Coach Dickert said don't judge them on that Georgia game because Georgia is on another planet. So if you don't judge them on that game, the Ducks have scored 111 points in the past 2 games against Eastern Washington and then 12th ranked BYU, which they beat 41-20. The Ducks have a high-powered offense led by Auburn transfer quarterback Bo Nix, and Nix might be the happiest QB in the country. The Ducks haven't given up a single sack all season. Talk about an insane stat for you. But WSU's strength has been its ability to get to the quarterback, leading the Pac-12 with 14 sacks. It will be a battle of the two teams' strengths come Saturday. Coach Dickert says it's a mix of good QB play and a solid offensive line, and the Cougs will stick to what's worked for them.
Definitely a combination, but even a stat I didn't know. But, they've been keeping them clean, and I think it's a combination of how good they are and what they're trying to do offensively.
Yeah, I don't think we let the process, what they do, change us. There's going to be some tiny adjustments, and that's just football week by week. But we can't sit here and throw away our entire game plan to sacrifice our defensive integrity to try to get one sack. We're going to play our ball and our style of defense.
The Cougs will look to get the first sack against Oregon come Saturday. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m. Eastern Washington is back at it after a bye week, beginning conference play with a big game this Saturday. The Eags hosting Montana State. Both teams are coming off losses to Pac-12 opponents in their last games. Eastern lost 70-14 to Oregon, and Montana State lost 68-28 to Oregon State. The Bobcats, as always, they like to pound the rock. They've ran for 267 yards per game thus far. But lucky for Eastern, Montana State is dealing with injuries at the running back position. The team's top 4 backs all expected to be out. So the Bobcats will have to get creative using 2 quarterbacks in Tommy Millett and Sean Chambers to power the run game, something the Eags are prepared for.
We are going to see the run and different versions of the run and QB added to the run game. So it's going to be tricky. They'll put together a good plan for us, and I expect both quarterbacks to be under or at least behind center at some point in the game.
Kickoff for Eastern's home game against Montana State is set for 1 p.m. at Roos Field. Win number 1 of the Jason Eck era is in the books. The Vandals routing Drake 42-14 on Saturday. This week, a true test as they hit the road to face Northern Arizona. NAU, like Idaho, has played a tough schedule thus far, facing Arizona State, Sam Houston, and then 22nd ranked North Dakota. The Lumberjacks have struggled to score points in that tough schedule, averaging just over 12 points a game, but don't let that fool you. This is a solid team. A matchup Coach Eck thinks he'll learn a lot about his team.
These are the games you find out, because I think our first 3 games, really weren't level playing fields either way. We were on paper a heavy favorite against Drake, and the other teams on paper were heavy favorites against us. Now you get to more of a game today. These are 2 teams that are pretty evenly matched, and it's going to be who plays better on Saturday.
Idaho at Northern Arizona begins at, surprise, surprise, 1 p.m. All 3 teams playing at the same time. You can catch that game on ESPN+.